Well, I guess a lot of people are going to probably, if they do any videos or anything on this news, probably going to be researching the video archives here on the internet, clip archives, and looking for that clip of a fish that, it's an animated clip, that is, of a fish that basically tells whoever it's talking to, F you, F you, F you, F you forever, you Fs. If you kind of understand what I'm saying. Or you kind of understand what I'm alluding to. But yeah, a lot of fans apparently, are going to be, basically tuning in, or basically trying to find that, that little clip of the fish going, F you, F you, F you, F you forever, you Fs. And why? Because that's how a lot of people feel right now with the news, being revealed, if you will, that the WBD, that is, Warner Brothers Discovery, essentially did not allow Tony Khan to put on the Celebration of Life tribute show for Jay Briscoe that they taped after Dynamite, and I'm assuming they taped after Rampage as well. They did not allow him to air the tribute show to Jay Briscoe. Yeah, they actually did two tapings. They did the Dynamite, the live Dynamite, then they did a Rampage taping, and then they did a Ring of Honor taping, a tribute to Jay Briscoe, Celebration of Life. And they basically, like I said, did not allow the celebration portion to be part of Dynamite like they did with Brodie Lee. And why? Why, you might ask? Because of what Jay Briscoe said, 13 years ago. And that, what he said about LGBTQ people and all that, the slurs he put out with that since that time, he and his brother, but mostly he, have made up for. Because he said those homophobic slurs, 13 years ago, despite apologizing for them, well in advance, the WBD, just like, before, when they wouldn't allow Tony Khan to sign the Briscoes to an AEW contract and allow them to appear on Dynamite, Rampage, and even the pay-per-views, or even Dark and Dark Elevation, just like Tony Khan wasn't allowed to do that because of WBD basically told Tony Khan, yeah, you could do the tribute show, but you can only do it after Dynamite and after Rampage. You can't do it on this show. You can't do it, live. You can't dedicate basically Dynamite to this person. Despite the fact that he had tragically passed away, in an automobile accident, despite the fact that his daughters were injured, one recovering, one going to have, if not already having, back surgery to prevent any paralysis. It's like for once in their life, why can't they just, put the business pride aside, honestly, and let this happen? Why can't they just let the business, why can't they just put the pride aside and let Tony Khan put this tribute on? Why couldn't they do that? Because to me, that is indeed effed up. That is indeed effed up. I mean, it's one thing maybe to want to say, hey, if the guy was still alive, yeah, we don't want him anywhere near, our television networks. We don't want him on any programming that we're airing. That's one thing, as screwed up as that still is, because of the fact that he apologized for what he had said and made atone for it throughout those 13 years. That's one thing. But to not allow the person that is basically giving you some of the best ratings on a weekly Wednesday night basis to air a tribute to the guy who is now no longer with us because of the tragedy that happened, whose daughters, like I said, ended up in the hospital because of said tragedy. You know, you don't want to allow Tony Khan to do that? That, my friends, is straight up bullcrap. That is straight up BS. I mean, whether you like WWE or you don't, whether you like WWE or you don't, they're always known about second chances. Whether it's under Triple H's regime, Vince McMahon's regime, they've always been known about giving people second chances and making amends and overlooking what they had done prior or what they said prior. They've always been known to do that. Always been known to do that. And whether you like to admit it or not, hold on for a second. But like I said, whether you want to admit it or not, WWE would probably put on the tribute as well. USA Network, Fox Network, be damned. They would do it. They would. Right. But apparently, WBD is not like that. Apparently, they don't want to associate themselves with a person who's made atone for what they've said. That this very same person who tragically is no longer with us, the very same person whose daughters are in a hospital recovering, one hopefully getting getting surgery to help prevent paralysis. This to me is a bad call. This to me is a bad call by WBD, because if they want to retain AEW Dynamite, if they want to retain, Tony Khan's services for his programming, then I would rethink the business strategies. I would rethink the business decisions. But because if they don't, they are going to lose AEW Dynamite, and nobody is going to tune into the networks. Nobody. Even if you have the NHL, even if you have the NBA, nobody is going to tune into your networks. Even when you have the NCAA tournaments, nobody is going to tune into your networks. You know why? Because they can't trust you to make the right decisions. To basically put your pride aside and allow somebody, to be honored for what they contributed to the business and, as a person outside of what they said prior over a decade ago, which they spent that, following decade making up for. It is not a good look on the WB's part. It's not. It is not a good look on their part. And they need to be, in my opinion, they need to be reprimanded. They need to be talked to. If I'm David Zaslav and I'm like, hey, I want to keep AEW on my Turner networks, on my TNT and TBS networks, and then I talk to whoever I put in charge of those networks, whether it's Kathleen Finch or whoever, and say, hey, you shouldn't have made that decision not to air the tribute. We should have allowed it to happen because, one, the guy's no longer with us, and oh, by the way, the guy has made atone for what he said long ago. That's what needs to happen. Whoever made that call, David Zaslav, if it wasn't him, then David Zaslav needs to be the one that reprimands him. And if it was David Zaslav, then everybody is right when they say hashtag fire David Zaslav, because obviously, despite some good decisions he's making, he's also making some bad ones, and this is one of those that ranks up as a bad one. But yeah, this basically is a big mistake on the WBD's part, in my opinion. Very big mistake. Very big mistake. And hopefully we don't have to, and hopefully they can learn from this, in the future. Hopefully it won't be for a very long future, but hopefully they can learn from this and realize, hey, time has passed, things have changed, people have changed. Maybe we need to give them a second chance. Maybe we should, maybe we should give them a second chance and, see maybe if we're the right in what they say, or that they or that they can show us that they've changed, or this has changed and all that. Because if not, they keep making decisions like this, nobody's going to want to deal with them, TV-wise. But I just wanted to get my thoughts on it, guys. Give me your thoughts down below. I got to get ready for work. I got to finish breakfast as well. But let me know what your thoughts are. I am out.